Hey Cachers, Derek here, Baker 6 Clan. Today we are going to be doing a mystery that also qualifies for the monthly geocaching challenge put out by Cache Advance and the Geocaching Vlogger. So I'm actually at the posted coordinates of where this mystery cache starts, which of course the cache is not here because it's a mystery. And I'm going to be honest, I am completely lost on how to figure out this. I know it's a book cipher, but I'm completely lost on how to figure out this code. So instead of me meeting up with the cache owner later, I'm going to meet up with him now so he can help me with this 4.5-1 difficulty of this mystery cache. And I'm with Gerald, or also Bit and Apple.
Hi there.
Now, okay, where do you even start on this puzzle? I mean, I've looked at it, I recognize some of the symbols, but I am completely lost on what even to do.
Okay, so the puzzle itself is a cipher from a book.
Right.
But it's not a book cipher in the way that people might talk about book ciphers, where
like an Alphendor cipher.
Right, where you find a paragraph and then so many words over, or a letter in the third word, or that kind of thing.
Right.
It's not that. So this one is kind of unique in that it is. It's actually called Bit and Apple's Literary Cache. So it gives you a hint that there is some kind of story or book or something that you need to get to.
Right.
But that's all it gives you. And if you look on the actual cache page itself, what you're going to find is that there's not a lot of information. There's ciphertext, a note that it's not in the middle of the street where I put the posted coordinates, and that's about it. This mystery cache has been out for a little over 5 years now, and I used to get a lot of people that would send me messages about what's the hint. And so what I told people back when it originally came out was that geocaching rules allowed people to put the mystery coordinates anywhere within 2 miles of where the original coordinates are. So sometimes the mystery coordinates have no help whatsoever, but in other caches, like this one, the mystery coordinates are a clue to how to solve the cipher. But this signpost is a big hint.
So Gerald, where are we going then? I mean, this is the hint, Gold Bug Station 25. I mean,
so we're on Sullivan's Island in South Carolina. We're at the intersection of Station 25 and Gold Bug Street. If you look on the cache page and you look at the actual little map square and zoom in on it, you'll see that the coordinates are in the middle of this intersection, or as close as I could put them in 5 years ago.
Right.
Station 25 is probably pretty meaningless to you. It's not going to help you with much of anything.
No, that means nothing to me.
But if you Google the other one, Gold Bug,
okay,
you might find something.
Okay, so Google Gold Bug and we'll figure something out from there.
Especially if you Google Gold Bug Sullivan's Island. Guaranteed you'll find something.
Okay, so there's our clues for this section of it. Now, we're going to go ahead and probably start heading toward where the final actually is, and then hopefully the clues may reveal a little bit more and we might be able to explain those clues to you then. So we have come to the cache location, and as you can see with the sign behind me, we are actually at the County of Charleston Edgar Allan Poe Library. So the Gold Bug may make a little bit more sense to you now, and maybe where the key for that puzzle is, because Gold Bug was the title of Edgar Allan Poe's one of his short stories. So the Gold Bug. Okay, so that helps a little bit. Now this is just a really, really cool looking library, and this is not what you think of what the library would look like. Check this out. I'm with Marie, the librarian here at this really cool library. So tell me, what is it like to have a geocache here actually in the library?
Well, the first thing that happens is you have these people come in and they look kind of bewildered. And they're not looking for a book, or maybe they are looking for a book.
Well, if you're in the library, why wouldn't you look for a book if you're in the library?
But they're not looking for a book to read.
Right. Okay.
And some of them will talk to us right away and tell us they're looking for a geocache. And some of them will look around for a while before they say anything. some people find it. Some people get frustrated because I guess many of the geocaches in libraries are in books.
Right, it's a fake book and it's cut out and stuff, yeah.
And that's the one clue we'll give in this library is our geocache is not inside of the book.
Okay.
And that they can find it. It's not that hard.
What other history can you share with us about this building, this location?
So this is Battery Gadsden. It's one of a series. We're an old gun battery.
Okay.
It's one of a series of batteries and bunkers up and down the coast. They were built for coastal defense. This one was built circa Spanish-American War, so probably very early 20th century. This was turned into a library in 1977, and they did things like cut through the walls to make doorways, so that you didn't have to exit each room to the exterior and go around. And the reason we're named after Edgar Allan Poe was when he was 18 or 19 years old, he had an argument with his stepfather and ran away from home, joined the army under an assumed name, and he was assigned to Fort Moultrie, which is what this battery later became part of. So Poe was before these buildings, but that's why Sullivan's Island claims Poe for their own, and we have streets and restaurants and islands named after him.
Right, so now all the clues and the golden bug and Poe is all starting to come together. Still don't know how to solve that cipher yet, but we will get to that soon. So I just thank you for doing this. Thank you for maintaining this cache here and just hosting it and just being really nice to all of us geocachers that are coming around just trying to find these different things.
Well, we love to have you guys.
It's just
We
really
do.
cool. And I just love how geocaching takes you to really cool, interesting places. Just thank you once again. So we're going to try and find this cache, and generally, like Gerald said, you're going to be looking for a book, but I don't think it's in a book. It's not in a book.
You know something he doesn't.
Oh, so evidently you guys have probably already found it. I haven't even found it yet, so I'm going to have to start really looking for it. Okay. So I have just found where it's at. It's right there, and it's golden. That is just hilarious.
And it's a bug.
And it's a bug. Check this out. So the gold bug. It doesn't get much easier than that. Once you get here to get to it, that is just so cool. So I even set up for that shot and wasn't even looking for it yet, because what do we look for? We look for a book. Even though I knew it wasn't in a book, I wasn't expecting it to completely be out in the open. That is just really cool. Now, the biggest question is, I knew it was at a library, but how do we solve that stinking cipher that has been still driving me nuts? So we're gonna get back with Gerald, we're gonna talk to him. Okay, so now I'm back with Gerald. We're still in the library and finally going to spoil it. So if you don't want to learn how to actually solve this puzzle, then go ahead and turn it off. There's another video up there for you to watch, or up there for you to watch, whichever side that card pops up. So go ahead and click on that right now. You can watch another video. But, all right, Gerald, explain to me how to decipher that puzzle.
Okay, so if your viewers paused the video, went and Googled gold bug in Sullivan's Island, and what they came up with was a story by Edgar Allan Poe. This is a collected works, and the gold bug story is inside of here.
Okay.
So if you actually go to the gold bug story and read through the story, you don't need me to spoil the cipher for you, because what the story is a character that's bitten by a golden bug.
Okay.
He also finds a piece of paper that has some cipher text on it.
Okay.
And he figures out that this cipher text is giving him directions on how to find a hidden treasure on Sullivan's Island, South Carolina. So it's perfect for the theme of the geocaching.
It is. That is just really cool. So without even deciphering how the actual cipher code is, it's right there. That is just really cool. Now, how did you come up with this whole puzzle itself?
So there's a million different kinds of ciphers
Right.
in the world. If you've looked at a bunch of them, eventually what you'll find out about is a little bit about the history of people that have developed and or solved ciphers. And if you keep going a little bit, what you're going to discover is that one person who was really big into ciphers and figuring out ciphers was a guy named Edgar Allan Poe. And so what he did was, he had, before he ever wrote the Gold Bug, he put a challenge out in the newspapers, I think it was in Philadelphia, asking people to send him ciphers that he would then solve. He was that much of, he just asked for any random person, send me a cipher and I'll solve it. And what he found was that people were fascinated with ciphers, even in the, we're talking about 1820s, 1830s, that kind of time
That's
period.
just really cool. Yeah.
And so people were constantly sending them to him. But he'd also get messages from people saying, I don't have any ciphers. I don't even know how to solve ciphers. So can you tell me how to do it?
Right.
So his response eventually to that was to write a story called The Gold Bug. So if you read the actual story, and I'll give a little forewarning, this is before political correctness, so there's some stuff that sounds a little weird to a modern ear. But if you read the actual story, what he is doing in the story is he presents you with a cipher, and then he tells you in the story how to solve it.
Okay. So, Gerald didn't spoil it. Edgar Allan Poe spoiled it, and you'll have to take it up with him. If you can find him, take it up with him.
So if you actually read the story and you're doing my cache, when you solve that cipher, you're solving a cipher that was created by Edgar Allan Poe in the 1840s.
That is just so cool. I just really like that.
Yep. If you look, this is a section of the book. The cipher text in the story.
Yeah, so as you can see on the screen, that it looks very similar to this, and in fact, look at them side by side. That is the same cipher.
And if you go through the story, Poe actually tells you how to do an analysis of what's basically a simple substitution cipher. So he counts the number of letters and figures out the most common letter in the English language is E. So the one that has the most is probably E. He goes through and solves the cipher, and then he gives most of the cipher away at the end of the story. There's actually a key that gives you most of it. I had to use some letters and information that wasn't in the story.
Right.
So I had to tweak it a little bit to make it work, but you've got 95% of it by reading the story. And the other 5, you can figure out that word must be a 3, or
right.
Those kind of things.
Oh, that is just way, way cool. Now, if you have found this completely fascinating, you know what, just give me a thumbs up. I'm actually going to have links down in the description to where you might be able to find this book, so check out the description down below. Gerald, just thank you. That is just really, really cool.
Yep. And the person who first found this, their first defined prize was a copy of the collected works of Edgar Allan Poe that was in the ammo can. And so the very first person says, I would be able to tell you what the reward was. It was appropriate, but I can't do it without spoiling it. Well, now I just...
Right, now we just spoiled it, so but this gives you just an idea of how you can do a cipher, and you know what? Ciphers aren't anything new. So, and in fact, next week, I'm going to be meeting up with Gerald, and we're actually going to be going to another location here on Sullivan's Island that is appropriate to even to this cache, and we're going to be talking about how to create ciphers and how to create maybe some different mystery caches. All right, so hey, I hope you enjoyed today, and if I spoiled it for you too much, I'm sorry, but please don't give me a thumbs down. Just give me a thumbs up. Click
thumbs
that
up and a smiley.
Thumbs up and a smiley. Click that subscribe button. It's right over here. And I hope to see you next time right here on Behind the Cache.